Hey, my name is Mike Patino, CEO of Global Catalytic Ministries. You might have heard our story from the film Sheep Among Wolves, our beginning in Iran as the underground church. From Iran, we grew into Afghanistan, and now with disciple makers in 73% of all Middle East, North African, Muslim majority countries, with a total global reach of 71 countries. Simply amazing what God has done. This is what we do. We make disciples of Jesus in the most unreached places, and we coach believers, you, to do the same in your families and neighborhoods. We say from an imam to a homeschool mom. Let's go to Mecca, which is the center of Islam and what we call the belly of the beast. This is where Wahhabism came from, the most radical form of Islam. 19 of the 20 hijackers from 9/11 came from here. This is where millions of Muslims go on their pilgrimage to touch the Kaaba, that black stone, the black box. This is one of the most closed off cities in Christianity in the world. Our COO, who fought in Afghanistan, said after infiltrating Mecca earlier this year, he said he would rather deal with the Taliban than have to operate inside of Mecca because of the spiritual oppression and the thickness that is there. Still, over the last year and a half, we have successfully infiltrated and have a lead disciple maker living inside of the city, which has never been done before, and recorded the very first baptism in 1400 years, all the way back to Muhammad, with 6 more lined up. Some say Saudi Arabia is growing at a 60% rate, which makes it number 1 by 3 times. This is what we do. We lay down our lives as sheep among wolves, as Jesus has required all of us to do. We base everything off of Jesus' disciple-making process. We just think Great Commission, but there's 3 commissions. He teaches the 12 disciples how to reach the Galilee. He teaches the 72 to reach Israel, and then a few sentences that talk about every nation, tribe, and tongue. We take people on a journey as we love them to Christ. Here's a story from one of our coaches. There was a festival. He grabbed a deck of cards, gospel cards that he had, and he was going to use them as like tarot cards. And he was walking around and praying, and the Lord highlighted this young lady. So he walks up to her and he says, pick a card, any card. And she stops and she grabs a card, and it was Judas. And our disciple maker says, well, would you look at that? The world's most famous suicide. Does this mean anything to you? She pauses and then began to tell him that last night her best friend killed herself. Then she went to the bridge to do the same. And she said something like an angel stopped her and said, don't jump. And then she finds herself in this festival and she said, and you're telling me about suicide. He asked her if she would like to hear about a process that helped him in his life. And they started their disciple-making journey. This is all we do. Here's how you can help. We don't dig wells. We don't own any buildings. We make disciples who make disciples. And we need your support to continue to operate in the Middle East and beyond. We just had a disciple maker just get out of prison in Libya, where he was tortured and beaten with sticks, burned with acid, just to follow Christ and laying down his life for his enemy. Your support goes to people like him, active disciple makers who are nationals from these countries. It's very hard for them to raise funds. Many of them rely on us to do so. As a fireman, we had a tactical rescue team. Some go into the hole and some hold the rope. I'm asking you to hold the rope right now. Only 1% of all funds raised from ministries or churches go into reaching the most unreached and most persecuted places in the world, which is exactly where we operate. I'm inviting you to hold the rope and be a part of this global underground church family, reaching into the most deadliest places on earth. I would ask to consider sacrificing one dinner a month to change the face of the Middle East. But maybe God is asking you to do a little more, be a little more uncomfortable than that, because you are a sheep among wolves, and you are part of the underground church, the global body of Christ, and we need you.